Hi, this is Ann. Somebody asked me how I was doing on my raw foods diet, and I just figured I would go ahead and do a little video and be totally honest. Um, Sometimes I think if we're honest with ourselves, um, that we can do a little better. I went too fast. Um, and I knew this would happen from doing a detox quite a few years ago, that you get to a point where you're flushing so many poisons and toxins out of your system that it will affect your emotions. And I have been crying for the past 2 days. Um, my nerves are just raw. Um, every little pain seems to be intensified, and it just sets me off in tears. But I know it. I know it'll pass. Um, Went to to my health food store doctor yesterday, and told him what was going on, and he said that I just went too fast, and I kind of figured that I might be, but everything tasted so good, and so many of my cravings for sweets and things had gone away, and I was just really pleased with how I was feeling, that I didn't take into consideration that I had been eating garbage for so many years, that when all that stuff started flushing out of my cells, that my body just couldn't keep up with trying to get rid of all of it. So I've had a bit of an emotional breakdown, but like I said again, I will pass. And even my poor sprouts, can you see them? Kind of drooped in sympathy with me. I forgot to water them and put them under the lights yesterday, so now they're just a big glob of greens laying one on top of another. I don't know if they'll come back or not. If they don't perk up later today, I'll just go ahead and cut them off and put them in a salad tonight. But it was kind of hilarious on the way to church yesterday. Tears just streaming out of my eyes. I had been in a lot of pain, and it just set off a torrent of tears. And my husband and I were talking, and I said, honey, I know this is going to sound kind of strange coming from me right now with the tears flowing down my face, but I do feel better. Physically, I do feel better. I have a lot more energy and a lot more desire to go ahead and push through with this thing. Had I chosen a diet to where I was eating foods that I was used to eating, I could have never stuck to just doing smaller portions of those, or calorie counting, or anything like that. With all the other stresses in my life, with school and other activities outside, that I just couldn't have kept up with that. And I've seen so many kind of like miracle stories about people on the raw foods or high raw foods way of eating that have done so well. It's just I didn't come across the ones that told you that there's a possible mental breakdown after a few weeks of this from toxin flushing. Now, had I done a juice fast or something like that, I would have really expected it, because that's what happened to me, I guess 25 years ago that I did that. And yeah, after about 3 weeks, man, the tears just start flowing for no reason. And it's like today I'm like jelly, and I've got so much schoolwork to do, and I can't even concentrate. But at the health food store, Jim and I were talking, and he said, you just went too fast. you need to put a little, get a little bit more protein and put some carbohydrates back in your diet. So I got a loaf of Ezekiel bread and some wheatless pretzels and just things like that to just supplement. And this morning, instead of my regular smoothie for breakfast, I had and still having. I've been eating breakfast for 3 hours now. Just my digestive tract is just in an uproar. Been eating steel cut oatmeal, well boiled with a little bit of almond butter and honey in it, just to kind of tone down. And I'll tell you what too, all the acid, especially the acid fruits and stuff going through your system can really wreak havoc on your lower digestive system. So you really got to take care of that area. It can be awful. So my advice is still, even going through the what I'm going through right now, is still a high raw foods diet. It's just start into it slower than I did. I'm an extremist. It either has to be this way or that way. It's either do it or don't do it at all. That's just my personality. But I would ease into it. Start with breakfast. Do a smoothie or vegetables or something for breakfast, and then eat regular, the way you usually do for lunch and dinner, and do that for a week or so, and just gradually get into it. Don't do it like I did. But that being said, I'm doing fine. I mean, I really am. I'm teary and all that stuff, but I have hope, and God gives me that hope. I started this journey of wellness very shortly after I got saved about 6 years ago, and nothing happened overnight. The only thing that happened overnight, when I got saved, my desire for a lot of things that were mentally bad for me went out of my life. I was addicted to watching movies and reading books, especially, the sci-fi fantasy type stuff. Man, those went in the trash can like within a week. I had sat there and tried to watch, some of my favorite movies that I had watched 100 times. And after the Lord came into my life, I tried watching that stuff, and it was like, that is trash, and I've been putting this into my brain, and so all that kind of stuff went away like bang, it was gone. I had no desire for it whatsoever. The health issues, my bodily health issues, didn't start until about going on 3 years ago. I had smoked for 40 years, and the Lord just gave me a desire to get rid of the cigarettes. And instead of trying to do it gradually and on the advice of some other Christians, that had quit smoking and stuff, I went the medication route and took Xanax. I don't recommend that for anyone. There again, man, it just makes your emotions raw. And I think this is bad. You should have seen me on Xanax. There were my mother and stepfather says, you have just become a totally different person. And it affected my emotional well-being so bad that I came off of it and just went back to smoking for a while. And what finally did get me off cigarettes, if any of y'all having that problem, and you want to get off them, was a little device called an electric cigarette, where you still have the sensation of of smoking and a little bit of nicotine, and gradually you just wean yourself down off the nicotine. And then, you know, after you're zero nicotine for a while, you get to the point you don't even want the, you know, the device is just a pacifier, and eventually you get rid of that too. So it takes about a year. So as of December 5th of last year, I was 3 years smoke free. So that took place. And then right before the holidays, around the 1st of November, I had been back, let's see, when did I go back to the doctor? I went to the doctor in April, and she said my blood pressure had been up. So I've been on 3 different kinds of blood pressure medicine, and I've been through so many sugar medications. You know, they'd work for a little while, and then my sugar would go back up. And they'd work for a little while, and my sugar would go back up. To where I think I said in my first video that I was on, by the time it all ended up and I decided that I had to do something with my eating, I was on 100 units of Lantus and about 65 units of regular Humulin R every day, just to keep the sugar below 200. Well, the high raw foods diet has drastically reduced that. Well, I've not had any insulin in 5 days now. If I take insulin, my blood sugar will go down to 50, and so I haven't had to have any insulin for a week. And the blood pressure medicine here, I guess 2 weeks ago, I would stand up and get dizzy, or I would bend over and get dizzy, stuff like that. And it finally dawned on me that maybe I was having postural hypotension, and started taking my blood pressure, and it was like 80/30, and, you know, just ridiculously low numbers. So I stopped taking one of the blood pressure meds, and it was up for, you know, went back up for a little bit to like 120/80 or 120/90, you know, somewhere around in that area. And then I started doing it again, you know, where I would stand up and get dizzy, or bend over and get dizzy, you know, things like that. So I started checking my blood pressure again, and here it was, these ridiculously low numbers. So I cut out all of the blood pressure medicines, and my blood pressure has normaled out. So within 4 weeks' time, I'm off of all my sugar medicines and all my blood pressure medicines. Now, I would not recommend to do this unless you are under a doctor's supervision. Me, I have always been one of those do-it-myself kind of people, and I know just enough information to be dangerous. So if you're going to do this, you know, keep seeing your doctor. My husband has made me promise that I will call today and make an appointment and go see my doctor, and I will. I will make an appointment before the day's end and go see her and tell her what I've done. And she'll pat me on the back and say, "Good job," and that'll be the end of it. So I know what she's gonna say. She's pretty hip on that kind of stuff.